Hello investors and welcome back. This week I looked at 123 companies, only 14 made the list, and this is from some pretty interesting industries like the apparel industry and retail stores. And guess what? We have a new entry. Yep, we have some pretty rigid criteria, but somebody new made the list and somebody else is in trouble. Come on, let's go swimming with the sharks and see what's going on. Please don't forget to hit that like and subscribe. Hit the bell so you don't miss a single episode. And tell your friends all about us so they can join in the conversation. All right, we're diving right in with VF Corp, ticker VFC. They are yielding 2.3%, and that's on $88.31. They are in the apparel industry. They're the only company to make it from the apparel industry. They are not qualified for cash flow or earnings per share, but they are a Div 0, 17 years of increasing dividends per share, no flat years, looking good. And here is their long-term trend. Here you can see this dividend yield going up for the 17 years. And here's the year-over-year change. All right, next up is Autozone. Now, Autozone, AZO, they're in the retail automotive sector. They do not pay a dividend, so they're not going to be qualified for the div. But look at that price tag, $1,180 a share. But this is what you're buying. They're qualified as a cash flow zero and an E0. Here, let's open this one up. Sorry about that. So you can see they've had 17 years of increasing cash flow per share and 17 years of earnings per share. So this would go into your portfolio for something other than an income play, but there's some good reasons to think about these folks. Now, here's their long-term trend line, and here is the year-to-year change. All right, switching industries again. Now we're in the retail store industry, and Costco makes the list, COST. Not much to write home about with this yield, 0.9% on $280.65. But holy cow, look at this. They're a cash flow 1, an earnings 1, and a Div 0. So that means they had 17 years of increasing cash flow per share, with the exception of this 08 to 09 time frame here, and the same thing going on here for their earnings per share. We all know what was going on around that time of the year, around that time in our economic cycle. So it's understandable that they would have taken a hit right there. Here's what that looks like on the long-term trend. Not too bad. They're still not much of a dividend play, but these folks are in your portfolio for reasons other than income. And here is what they look like on the year-to-year changes. All right, now we're staying with the retail store industry, and we're moving to Dollar Tree, DLTR. They also do not pay a dividend, but their valid price is $112.32. And whoa, wait a minute. What's going on here? Not qualified. Not qualified. Of course they're not qualified for dividend. They don't pay a dividend. So here's the deal. Their 19 numbers are still cooking, but it looks like they're going to fall out of our list. They used to be a CF1, but I have a feeling that they're going to drop out of the list here. If they drop out the next time around, we're going to move them out of the list. So Dollar Tree is in trouble. All right, Target. TGT, their yield is 3.0%. That's filled with gold because that is greater than the 2.6% that I use as a benchmark. That's on $88.31. And they are not qualified for cash flow or earnings per share, but they are qualified as a Div 0, 17 years of increasing dividends per share. All right, here's what Target looks like on the long-term trends. A little bit up and down, but still generally upward trend lines there, and the dividend, of course, is upward. And here's their year-to-year change. Well, you probably expected it. So, yep, Walmart's on the list as well. Their yield is only 1.9%, nothing to get excited about, on $114.76. Now, Walmart is qualified in two areas. Cash flow, 1, 17 years of increasing cash flow with the exception of 14 to 15. And they're a div 0, so 17 years of increasing dividends per share. Although at 1.9%, that's nothing to get excited about. All right, here is the long-term trend. And here's their year to year. Nike, now we're in the shoe industry, so Nike NKE, their yield is only 1% on $88.60. Wow, there's a lot of $88 shares in this group, huh? But look at this, they are qualified as a cash flow 1, an earnings 1, and a div 0. So cash flow and earnings, they both took their hit here in the 17 to 18 time frame, all right, but 17 years of increasing dividends per share. Here's Nike's long-term trends. You know, overall not too bad. They're taking a little hit here. Let's see what they're doing to pull out of this. And here's their year-to-year change. All right, the new entry on the list, Best Buy. I know that's hard to believe, right? Best Buy, they're at 2.8% for a dividend yield. Again, that's filled with gold because it's greater than the 2.6% benchmark that I use. And that's on a valid price of $74.78. So why did they make the list? Right here, div 1. Now, the last time we looked at them, they were a div 2. But you know, as the year moves on and these numbers fall off the other end, they now become a div 1. They hold it together for a year, they'll be a div 0. So Best Buy is on for their dividend, and at 2.8%, it's not, you know, you may want to think about that. All right, let's look at the long-term trend lines here. So here's Best Buy. You know, they've taken a hit here. They recovered, moving out. Can they hold their own against the e-market world? Or they're joining the e-market world. They seem to be using it successfully. Let's see how they play out here. Here's their year-to-year changes. Okay, Williams-Sonoma Retail Hardlines, Williams-Sonoma. My wife is a chef. I know this store quite well. Their dividend yield is 2.7%. That's on $70.26. They're qualified as a cash flow 1, but they're not qualified for earnings or dividends. So if you're looking at them for an income play because they're over our benchmark, be careful. They're not historically great, but they've been trying to get better when it comes to paying their dividends. Here's their long-term trend lines. That's a little bit ugly, but they recovered from that, and they've been doing well ever since. And here is the year-to-year change. Williams-Sonoma. All right, now we're going into retail soft lines, starting out with Ross Stores, R-O-S-T. Their yield is only 1%, nothing to get too excited about, on $106.81. But look at this, cash flow 1, earnings 1, div 1. Management knows what they're doing here at Ross. 17 years of increasing cash flow, earnings, and dividends, with the exception of 1 year right here, 04 for the cash flow and the earnings, and 06 for the dividend, which was a flat year, and we allow one flat year. Here's what that looks like on the long-term trend line. You know, not too bad there. And here's what we're looking at for the year-to-year changes. Okay, TJX, you probably remembered it was going to be on the list. TJX, they're only at 1.6% for a dividend yield, and that's on $56.22. But holy cow, look at this, just like Ross, they are qualified in every category. Cash flow 0, earnings 1, div 0. TJX, there's a possibility for your portfolio for something other than dividends when a company's management can keep it together that well. Here's what it looks like on the long-term trend. And here's what that looks like on the year-to-year changes. Okay, we're going to shift industries again. We're in the electric utilities west. Vista Corporation, AVA, they're at 3.5%, and that's on a valid price of $45.57. Now, just as we expect with our utilities, they are not qualified for cash flow or earnings, but they are a Div 0. That's why you play in the utilities world for the dividend, and at 3.5%, it's worth considering. Here is the long-term trend line. And here's their year-to-year. Sticking with utilities now, Black Hills Corporation, BKH, 2.6%, right on the edge of that gold fill on $79.96. Not qualified for cash flow or earnings per share, but they are a Div 0 as we would expect. Their long-term trend looks kind of similar to what we saw with the Vista, although it's a little bit ugly down in here. And here's the year-to-year trends. Changes, excuse me. All right, now these folks could be in trouble. Edison International, EIX. Don't let this 3.5% yield fool you into jumping in on this one. That's on a valid price of $70.10, but do your research. These folks have exposure to the wildfires, and that could cause them some long-term troubles. So they're not qualified for cash flow earnings, as we expect. They're a Div 0 because right here, this 19 to 20, we're forecasting that they're not going to increase. They might even end up going down. So I urge caution with Edison International. Here's their long-term trend lines, and here is the year-to-year. All right, let's rack and stack them. 14 companies out of 123 analyzed. You can see that Dollar Tree is in trouble and may come off of the list. Best Buy got on the list at 2.8%. Becoming a Div 1. The companies that are in gold, for those of you that are interested in your income plate, Target, they're looking pretty good with a Div 0. We talked about Best Buy, Williams Sonoma, they're in there for cash flow, not for dividend. And in the utilities group, which is where you usually find your income plays, Vista and Black Hill doing pretty good, looking pretty good. Edison could be in trouble. I've put that yellow bar on there because I want to highlight the fact that they have some risk and exposure to the wildfires, and that could significantly hurt their returns in the future. All right, well, I hope you enjoyed the discussion. I look forward to seeing your comments down below. Come on, I know there's some folks out there looking at these. Let me know what you think about this stuff. Provide your comments, and I look forward to chatting with you all again next week.